and welcome to another edition of Open for Business. Today we have a very special guest, Dr. Richard Leighton. Not only is he a physician, he is an author of a new book that's just come out. He co-authored it with Dr. Carlton, and this is what his book looks like. And today we're going to talk about what was his inspiration in writing these 80 poems by two octogenarians. How do you pronounce that, Dr. Leighton?
Octogenarians.
Octogenarians, absolutely. What was your inspiration for writing all these poems?
Well, I've been writing poems most of my life. So the ones I wrote in the past were rhyming poems that I would send to family members on birthdays or anniversaries. And the poems I wrote for this book were a mixture of rhyming poems and free verse.
Wonderful. So what is this book about? What kind of poetry does it reflect? What are the topics?
Well, there are about 5 different topics. One was on poetry. One was on friends, pets, and relatives. The third one on love. Another one on philosophy and teaching. Frank wrote some on health and libation, and on hunting and fishing. And then finally, together we had a category of old age and death and trivia.
So I want to ask you a few more questions. So when you were growing up, were your parents into poetry? Were they writers? Or how did you get how did you start to write poetry?
Well, as I said, I've been writing poems for a long time, and I just enjoy doing it.
Okay.
And Frank Carlton and I both teach second-year medical students in the Mercer curriculum. And when I discovered he was writing poems, we decided to each contribute 40 poems to this book. Since we're both octogenarians, that would add up to 80 poems, and that seemed an appropriate number.
Absolutely. So Richard, do you mind reading one or two of your poems?
Okay.
I'm going to put you on full screen here so we can see you. There we go. There we go.
Here's one called Restless Wave. The Navy hymn begins, Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave. The hymn ends with, O hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. I was raised to believe in a personal God who answers prayers and guides our lives. Having belonged to a squadron of typhoon trackers and witnessed of tempests, now to me it seems if there is a God, it's not a father that one can petition to bind the restless wave. Better to track the storm and warn those in its path. If not an intervening father, perhaps a creator I am impressed with how well the universe runs. The planets continue to follow precise orbits. Babies are born, mature, and die. There are, of course, mutations, accidents, disease, much we don't discern. But I feel that I'm left without celestial supervision to make my own moral choices, avoiding the restless wave.
Wow, Richard, wow. How long ago did you write that? And
The 40 poems I completed, I wrote last year. And now I'm working on a new poetry book that should be out before the end of this year.
well, we will definitely get you back on Open for Business. We might have a better connection next time, but at least we got to meet you. We got to hear got to hear one of your poems. And how can people order your book? They can go on Amazon. Richard, you there?
Yes.
Okay, how can people, and so they can go to Amazon to order your book. All right. So what we're probably going to do is we're going to redo this broadcast with Dr. Carlton when we make sure the internet is really up to par because you're definitely breaking up, but it will be on the YouTube channel so you can see. Richard, can you? Oh, I think he froze. All right, so we're going to end the broadcast, and thank you for watching Open for Business, and we will redo it at a future date.